So, hello again. Here we are with CJ Arthur, a bookseller from Sheboygan. Well, not from, but
Yep.
in currently
Yes.
Sheboygan. We're
Yep.
going to talk all about where they're from as well. But in the meantime, hello.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
We're really happy you're here. Tell us a little bit about, I don't know, your relationship with with MIBA in general, and sort of how they have played a role in your bookseller life.
Well, this is my first time being at one of their events. Wordhaven is 3 years old now, and it's taken me a little while to sort of figure things out. I still feel like I'm trying to figure things out. It's my first brick and mortar business, and MIBA. I became a member, I think, right off the bat because we opened on Independent Bookshop Day in April of 2022. And they have this awesome map, which I'm sure you know about,
Yeah.
that has all of the indie bookshops in the Midwest, and they do these cute little illustrations of your bookshop, and so that's been really fun. And so to be able to, I wanted to be able to be on the map and get involved, and I feel like I'm still really learning a lot about what they can do. They're really good at communicating and letting us know sort of the best sellers in the Midwest and just stuff that's going on. But this is my first road trip experience. And last night I got to meet a bunch of booksellers, and I've met a few along the way the last 3 years, but this is the most I've met. And they're really fun to hang out with, and they speak your language. And there's such a range of the book selling experience. Definitely people that are in bigger cities have a lot more people come through and can have like staffs,
Right.
and I tried to have a staff for a while, but it's tricky. I mean, I have sort of a book team of volunteers right now that helps me out if like when I'm here or not feeling well or whatever. But it's like it's pretty tricky to have a staff and pay yourself. It is you don't turns out you don't go into indie book selling to make a lot of money, but I come from the world of education and nonprofits and social services, so I'm not really used to making that much anyway.
Hmm.
But definitely this is quite a bit less than anything I've done. But you do it for the love of books, and Sheboygan is considered to be in a book desert. The little free library sort of taught me about a lot of that stuff. We partner with them too, and we have a little free library. And so just partnering with folks, and MIBA does such a great job of connecting us. And I feel like this is in some ways just the start of like my next level with them, and learning about what they do and what they're about and how we can connect and how I can help them. And
Yeah.
so it was a very long-winded answer.
No, that's okay. Trade associations are really powerful. I mean, having community with other people is how we learn.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if you would maybe tell our viewers a little bit about your bookstore and kind of what made you wanna, what is it that is sort of your mission with the bookstore?
I should have asked consent before I touched your arm. There was a bug. I was going to get you. Wordhaven BookHouse is a writing center and bookshop in Sheboygan, and I am originally from Minnesota. You can hear the O, right? Do you have the O too?
Oh, I
By
totally
the way,
do.
folks, we're going to talk a little more about that coming up.
Minnesota.
Ken and I are
Uh,
both from Minnesota.
Yeah.
I've also lived in Northampton, Massachusetts, and Iowa City and Seattle. And then I ended up back in the cities for about another 18 years or so, and just needed a change in location, a change in experience. I had had some adventures that taught me a lot, but I needed to sort of, what I needed was a retreat. And Sheboygan has always been sort of a place for me to do that. I discovered it like 26 years ago, and I would get back there when I needed to sort of connect with myself, which is probably what I needed more than the retreat. Was to connect with myself, connect with my higher self, and you know, I call her Lady M, Lake Michigan,
Oh, nice.
is a portal of sorts, and helps you connect to, if depending on your spiritual beliefs, but like you can connect to your guides easier. You can also, whatever, if you send sort of positive energy, it can go out through the lake. And so I was Lady M was calling me, and so I listened to the call. I moved there. I didn't know anyone. I bought a house. Someone FaceTimed it for me.
Wow.
And
That's
I
great.
was committed. I was like, I'm doing this. And I was working somewhere else that ended up not being a good match, and there wasn't an indie bookshop. And I wanted to live in a town with an indie bookshop. And as an English teacher and as a writer and as an author, I really wanted there to be a writing center too, because I think it's, you know, it's reading about characters and experiences, but it's also processing that and connecting it to yourself and others. And I find that writing is sort of a great way to do that. But also want to create a space where people could talk about what they read, talk about what's going on in the world, and just be a safe place to heal and grow and connect and learn. And that's what I've been trying to do. So we have a bunch of events. We have tarot club and book clubs and writing classes and author events and drag story time. And now we've just started doing night markets, and we have a book of the month club where people can participate in our book clubs, and we'll ship it to you wherever you are. And if you want, you can, you know, FaceTime in, or if you don't, you just want to, you know, have the book that whatever we pick. So we have that going on. I just started a Patreon because we do have a lot of free events. And so that helps us be able to provide those opportunities for the community. We have like a scholarship fund so people can take writing classes even if they don't have the funds. I want them to still be able to take the classes.
Wonderful.
And so I'm just trying to do my best and learn as I go. And
you're much more than a bookstore. Just listening at what you're trying to do there, but can we get into the nuts and bolts a little bit of the bookstore itself? So how do you define wins? Like what's a good win for you to go home at the end of the day and say, yeah, what a great day? And conversely, what are some of the biggest challenges you keep running across in running your bookstore?
I sort of like to think about the language of thriving and opportunities of growth.
Mm-hmm.
I try to steer away from sort of like success or winning. I think we're a bookshop rooted in equity,
Mm-hmm.
and so for me, if I have helped someone make a connection, if I've helped them maybe process something that will help them thrive, you know, I think that our unresolved trauma can often come out sideways and harm other people or harm ourselves. I think especially right now with the political landscape, it feels like we're all in this sort of abusive household together. And I think that doing our work and making sure our stuff doesn't come out sideways on our siblings feels really, really important to me, because um, you know, it's dying. Like it's like a caged animal. The current system is going to go away eventually, and we need to be ready and we need to be our best selves so that we can just create ideally a world that is more rooted in equity. And so for me, like we had an author event on Saturday. We had two author events back to back, and one of them was one of my friends from Minnesota, and he wrote a Saturday mornings at the shop, and it was about his experiences going to the barber shop as a kid. And he was actually in CBS Mornings, and I met him on the Governor Advisory Council in like I think 2020. But he drove from Minnesota and, you know, was able to share his book and talk about his experience. And then we had Dasha Kelly Hamilton, who used to be a Wisconsin Poet Laureate,
Mm-hmm.
and she came, and some of the other writers came with her, and they talked about this new book they have called Alignment, which is a poetry book where they would have like prompts, and people across the state of Wisconsin would sort of respond, and then she'd combine things. It included folks that were incarcerated, and someone who was incarcerated called while she was giving the presentation. And with his permission, we got to hear about his experience of being a writer and how that's impacted him. And so just like, I just feel really excited that I can help connect people and that they can learn about all the cool stuff that people are doing to make this world more equitable and kind. And so to me, that feels like that Wordhaven is doing something good for the world, with opportunities like that. But even Tarot Club, like anytime you can heal and become a healthier version of yourself and connect with others, to me, I feel like that's what's gonna help
That
us.
spreads out and changes the world
I
a
hope
little bit
so.
by bit.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Okay, so then we have to land on the most controversial topic of our times, right? Duck, duck, gray duck. Duck, duck, gray duck.
You mean
this is
you mean the
official.
only correct way to play
The
the game?
only
This
correct
is
way.
official
Yes.
confirmation that is how it should be done. It is not duck, duck, goose.
No.
Duck, duck, gray duck. And
That's
it's on a T-shirt that makes it
People
real.
get confused.
They do.
I know.
Yeah.
And I really want to honor your efforts to make sure people are clear
Thank
and
you.
they have clarity around that. So
Mhm.
kudos to you. You really are making the world a better place. We're gonna do Duck Duck Grade Up one state at a time.
When I was so I'm a Minnesota State Teacher of the Year,
Mhm.
and we get to meet other Teachers of the Year from other, you know, places that are connected to the U.S. and you're supposed to bring something from your state to sort of represent your state, and I got little gray ducks
Oh, fun.
and gave them,
Perfect.
and a lot of people didn't even know that that was a thing. And so one of my proudest moments, I think, was that some of my friends like taught Duck Duck Grey Duck to their students,
Oh, fun.
and I'm like, my work here is
Your
done.
work is
So did they just never hear of Duck Duck Grade Up, or did they think it was Duck
No.
Duck Goose?
Well, they learned the wrong way.
They
They
learned the
didn't
wrong way.
know about the right way, and so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like I enlightened a lot of Teachers of the Year
Yeah.
about Duck Duck
Spread
Grey
that.
Duck.
Yeah. I
The
always say
issue of
it's-
our times.
That's
really.
right.
Yeah.
It's a movement. It's a movement,
I
folks.
always say it's more creative. You know, you got to come up with all your patterns and your colors. It's more creative our way.
It
So
is.
it works well
You have
with
to listen
writing and
Yeah.
really well because it could be green and
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Yep.
And the rhythm. Duck Duck Grade Up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Duck Duck Goose doesn't have the same level of
Yeah.
rhythm.
I know. All the Wisconsinites right now just turned off.
I
the
know.
podcast.
Yep.
We've
They're
convinced
like,
you all.
they're like, we have
Convinced you.
nothing to learn from you.
Our viewership just dropped down to nothing. Oh well. It's a worthy sacrifice to make the world a better place.
It's worth it.
All right, well, CJ Author, I want to thank you for coming on and talking to us today. And good
Yeah.
luck with Wordhaven
Thank you.
and everything going forward.
Yeah, thank you for having me.